Hello, welcome to lesson 53. This is called perimeter and measures of a circle. Now, we don't have any practice problems for you on this lesson, so I'm going to take your grade based on the notes that you took for the example problems and for the definitions that I give you. So the first thing that we're going to look at is for perimeter. Now, I know this is kind of a review, but I like to be able to start basic and to also start with a good foundation of this. That way we don't get perimeter confused with area and then confused with volume later on. So perimeter is the distance around a polygon. Notice it's only just a polygon, so it's around a flat shape that's closed and has straight lines. That's how we find perimeter. Now, I like to kind of think of, let's say, if we were to do hand motions with this, we would do perimeter. Kind of break it all down. That way we get stuck in our head. Perimeter. So it's going all the way around a closed flat shape. So we have length and we have width of a polygon. Now the length is typically just the longer side. So it doesn't matter really whether it's going horizontal or whether it's going vertical. The length is the longest side. And then the width is your shorter side. So when we find the distance around the polygon, I need to have my length plus my width plus another length plus the other width. So I'm going to eventually add all sides together. Depending on how many sides, of course, you have, you're going to add all the sides together. So for perimeter, we are going to use addition. So for example 1, what is the perimeter of this rectangle? I want you to go ahead and try it and pause the video. Alright, so the perimeter of this rectangle, I have the length as 3 centimeters because that's my longer side, and the width is 2 centimeters because it's my shorter side. So I'm going to have 3 plus 2, which is 5, plus 3 more, which is 8, plus 2 more, which is 10. So my perimeter is 10, and I need to label. It is in centimeters, so my perimeter is 10 centimeters. That is the distance around the polygon, the distance around the rectangle. Alright, now we also have different types of polygons, as we have learned already. It depends on how many sides you have. Now, we can also have what's called a regular polygon. A regular polygon, which I want you to write this down, means that the sides and angles are equal in measurement. So a square is a great example of a regular polygon. It has 4 right angles that are all 90 degrees, of course, and then it also has 4 sides of equal length. So regular polygon sides and angles are equal in measurement. So maybe a typical octagon that you would picture for a stop sign. It would have equal angles and it also has equal sides, or a regular pentagon that has all equal sides and equal angles as well. So example 2, what is the perimeter of this regular triangle? Notice I only gave you one, it only gives you one side because it's 12 inches, but it's a regular polygon or regular triangle, which is a polygon. That means that all sides are the same length. So 12 inches plus 12 inches plus 12 inches, or really that's the same thing as 12 times 3, which is 36. So 36 inches would be the perimeter of the triangle. Now, we also have different measurements of ways that we can measure a circle. Now, a circle is not a polygon because it does not have straight sides, but we won't actually be measuring anything except for maybe the diameter and radius. Now, we have what's called the circumference. So the circumference is the perimeter of a circle. So I want you to go ahead and have that down in your notes as well. The circumference is the perimeter of a circle. That's a distance all the way around. We won't get into measuring those because that does include a little bit more complicated formulas or something that is a little bit more advanced. But we are going to focus on the diameter and the radius. Now the radius is the distance from the center of the circle, so it has to be the center, the distance from the very center of the circle to the curve. So it could go this direction, it could go out here, it could go out here, it could go out here. Because it's a center, it doesn't matter which direction it is. If it's half of the length of my circle, basically, then it is the radius. Now we also have the diameter, which is the distance across the circle, and it's through the center. So I'm not going to go like this. I have to go through the center of the circle. I'm going all the way across. Now, a funny way to kind of remember that is with diameter. Well, okay, so with diameter, you can, if you go basically all the way straight through the sun, then you will die. That's a kind of a funny, quirky way that fifth graders tend to remember it, is you will die if you go all the way through the circle. So diameter goes all the way through the circle. Or if you go all the way through the sun, I'll say that. If you go all the way straight through the sun, you will die. So the diameter goes all the way across the circle. Also, another way to remember is that radius is a shorter word than diameter, and radius is going to be half of the diameter. So an important thing to realize, if my diameter, I'll say, is 10 inches, then the radius is going to be half. It's going to be 5 inches. Or if my radius, I'll say if my radius is, let's say, 4 centimeters, then my diameter is going to be twice as much. So if my radius is 4 centimeters, that means my diameter is going to be 8 centimeters. So my radius is half of a diameter. A diameter is twice as long as a radius. So those are the two things that you do need to know and that you will be using in practice problems and problems that we go over together in class. So thank you very much for listening and paying attention. Be sure to bring your notes to class, and I will take those as a participation grade. Thank you.